Welcome to Straight Talk Sacred Pathway. I'm Stuart Wellborn, a British author and former therapist, and each week I sit down with Wa-Na-Nee-Che, a spiritual elder from Turtle Island, to explore the deeper truths behind healing, ceremony, and connection to Source.
Strange things are happening.
Go on then, what strange things?
Visions.
Elaborate
One,
then, sir.
one of the visions I had a couple of days ago, I was sitting in a room. It was a workshop, and people were doing some crazy things in the workshop. And this guru walked in the middle of the workshop and everything, and everybody kind of ran to him. And he started looking at him, and they looked right into their eyes. I couldn't quite tell what he was saying, but he was saying something to them, and they were just kind of stepping back a little bit. Went around, he came to me and he looked into my eyes and really deep, and all of a sudden he turned pale white, and he said, "Please don't steal my chi. Don't take it, please." And I looked at him and I said, "I'm not that kind of person." I said, "What you're doing is wrong." And I said, "What you should be doing is helping them find their chi, not trying to steal it." And I said, "You sit there and you say things to them so that you gain followers." And I said, "Yeah, this is not what you're supposed to be doing." I said, "You're supposed to be teaching them how to find their own chi." And I said, "Too many of you out there sitting there trying to glorify yourself rather than trying to glorify where the energy comes from and how to utilize it correctly." So he kind of left it, and all of a sudden he started working with people and looking into their eyes and everything, teaching them how to find their pathway to find their chi.
Did you
It was
recognise who this guru was?
no
Yeah.
idea.
All right, yeah, I was going to say,
Probably
but don't name him.
if I heard the name, I'd probably recognize the name.
Now, you
And
said they
then,
went white. Was they white originally, or were they another colour?
oh, he was actually from India. He was a guru,
Ah,
and he does exist. And
right.
then last night, I was sitting there, and for some reason, I was going to church, and I got into church, and they were singing, and all of a sudden, they start screaming and ran out of the church. And then, as they ran, there was like a giant tornado, a twister, was picking them up and taking. I don't know where they were being taken, but they were being picked up, and I was watching it, and the tornado surrounded me, but it didn't do nothing. It said, all I heard was a voice saying, "You're doing things right." And then I went in and I went to another group of people and we started singing, and I stopped them. I said, "If you're going to sing praise to the Creator, to the Lord." I said, "Too many times," I said, "you sit there and you go to a place of worship and you sing songs of praises, but you're not singing them to the Creator." I said, "You're not singing them to God. You're singing them to make you feel good." And I told him, I said, "If you want to reach the place at the source of the power, you have to start realizing that you are controlled." I said, "I grew up in a Catholic church." I said, "I was an altar boy. I went to a Catholic school." And I said, "They were teaching me the wrong things. What they were teaching was how could they utilize religion to control people's minds, not their spirit. So every time you go to church on Sunday," I said, "or whenever, all you do is put money into a collection box, hoping that your sins will be taken away." So it came down to the situation again that religion is there to control you. It uses fear to basically get into your mind, and it's fear that they utilize to capture you, and you basically walk down the wrong pathway because everything that from the creator is free. Your connection to the creator is freedom of choice. You are already saved. It all depends on how you walk your pathway upon the earth will determine whether or not on Judgment Day you will look at yourself and see if you're worthy to enter into the gates of the source where the power is. But the creator at the point was not angry, but he was very frustrated. And he said, people have to start learning freedom of choice. They have to learn that they are empowered to save themselves because when they're born into this world, they aren't born into mortal sin. I said they're born into this world to walk a certain pathway. But I said religion basically forces them to get baptized so that they can get rid of their original sin. He said the Bible was written long after Peter, Paul, Jesus' time upon the earth. They said, so if it was written after Jesus was here already, it didn't exist, then how did they write it? They wrote it for control. And the federal governments throughout the world utilize the same system that religion uses to control people. And that's why we're in a hell of a mix right now, is because we haven't that we have the freedom to choose our own salvation.
Was that all part of the vision, or was you just
Vision.
elaborate? Hmm?
This is a vision. Because I woke up and I was just kind of amazed, and I said, "Why are they showing me this? Why am I being told this? Am I supposed to be somebody that I'm supposed to be doing certain things?" And I said, "Well, if I'm supposed to be doing certain things, why don't you show me? Why don't you tell me?" I said, "You sit there, and then I have to interpret it. But why can't you just give me a direct answer on what I'm supposed to do?" I said, "I've asked and asked and I asked for several bundles to help me focus on helping people to find themselves. But I said, nothing has happened yet. I haven't gotten any answers." And they said, if I'm supposed to do something, tell me. If you're not, don't bother me because I want to be sure that I'm doing the right thing.
I think I understand that because that's how I feel quite. In fact, that's how I've been feeling today because uh, I've been doing a lot of work, just like we've been doing this broadcast. I've just given away my PTSD book, and it's like, am I doing the right thing? Because I shared shared the book, which I'm giving away for free, saying, I'll see who shares this. I haven't had a single interaction with it yet. I know it's
You know
only
what?
one day, but it just made me go, I've just spent 3 weeks cleaning up the first edition of the book to give it away for free. Am I doing it? Am I doing the right thing, or should I be doing something else?
It's funny how humans think. And this is one of the workshop people who puts workshops together. He said, in order to draw people, you have to basically charge huge sums because people have been trained, he said, to say the more you're worth, the more they say, oh, he's really worth it. When they could possibly get a lot of information for free.
Oh yeah, that's definitely true, especially in coaching and therapy circles, because you know some coaches and mentors and all that charge you know tens of thousands to work with somebody, but they're not giving any advice that's probably any different to the $100 coach.
It's like that old saying, you're on the earth to follow a pathway. You have to take two steps forward, one step back to take a look at where you've been, then understand it before you go forward again. But he said, if you're not looking for your pathway that will connect you to your own energy and you keep looking up, you're going to walk off a cliff because the answers aren't up there. The answers are on the earth and they're there for you. All you have to do is find them.
Well, that's spooky you saying that because today, because I was in one of those annoyed moods with myself, I was thinking, what am I going to ask Wa-Na-Nee-Che tonight? And I thought, one of the things that you're good at talking about, and we've been going for a while, it'd be good to recap it, and you do mention it now and again, is finding your gift on Earth. That you've said people, different people have different gifts, like you were talking about your dad with the flowers and that. How do you know what your gift is? And also, before we get on to finding it, does every single human being have a gift?
Yep, yep. Every human being has a gift. There's 144,000. And then someone may have the same gift, but then they work together.
And those who have the same gift are actually considered twin flames because they walk the same pathway into that same flame. That's why they're called twin flames.
That's why some of the simple exercises I show people, if they would do it, they'll know when they find their pathway, because all of a sudden they'll be surrounded by an energy. They'll be in a dimension. And in that dimension, they will show them exactly the things they need to find and utilize the power that they have. That's how I found mine, is that I was led, the first time I ever had a vision, I was led by a wolf. And the wolf was running, and the next thing I noticed, we were just covering ground so fast that the ground looked like a blur, and I wasn't running. I wasn't on the ground. I was floating. And the wolf took me to a place of the deer. And when we were at the deer, the wolf took off, and the deer sat there and said, "I'm going to teach you love." So the first teacher I had was actually a deer. And then from the deer said, "It's time." And it turned into a buck, and it started jumping. And all of a sudden, I was jumping with it. And I jumped so high, the next thing you do, I was flying, but I had turned into a thunderbird. And then I knew what my gift was. I was attached to a thunderbird.
And what's your gift then?
Uh,
What is your gift then?
the thunderbird is the kind of like the advisor over everything.
Uh-huh.
And when I discovered that I was a thunderbird, I went up in a vision and I was before the elders. And the elders laid 5 different colored bundles in front of me. And each bundle had a certain power. And they said, "These are yours." And I said, looked at them, I said, if I choose to accept these 5 gifts, then I'm obligated to basically just help the indigenous people and those people who follow the indigenous road. So I said, I don't want them. I said, I want to teach the world to become indigenous. And the head of the elders got up and said, finally, we found a thunderbird that was in vain. You chose right. So then I knew that the power of the thunderbird was with me. And then later on, I actually worked side by side, because I worked with the deer, the white buffalo, the thunderbird, and then with the bear. And in one vision, they gave me a shield, and in the shield, they had eagle bear on the shield, because I had earned the right to call upon the bear as well. But we know, you know when you're there, because when you wake up, you're tired, and you realize that your energy was working all the time in a different atmosphere, in a different zone, in a different how would you say it, dimension. And you know, because you feel it, and you know that you found your pathway. Then, once you find your pathway, they start teaching you how to use it.
Is your pathway the same as your gift, though? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, same thing. So what they do is they end up, once you find out who you are, then they start training you how to utilize that gift.
I've got several questions that I need to get across,
Yeah.
and I hope I'll get them all in here. Now, you said everybody has a gift. What about the people who are starving in, like Africa and things like that? I mean, do they have a gift?
Everybody
They all have a gift, it's just that they haven't found it. And the whole idea, when you come down to it, human beings, I think they believe that when, according to the Bible, when Adam and Eve were created, God said, go out and multiply. I think there was a point that you're supposed to stop. 8.5 billion people on this earth, the earth can't survive, and it can't produce the food that is needed for their survival. So because of what they do, and because they're mostly sex maniacs out there, you have more and more and more children. So they are creating the starvation without realizing it. Wait, Matthew wants to say something.
Okay, the whole thing, as well to help you understanding your gift is that there is called a stage of awakening. And this stage of awakening has many stages of understanding. And when you start awaken, you'll start to follow your pathway that will lead you to your gift. But along this pathway, they will be testing you. They'll be putting you through major, major trials for you to understand what your gift is all about, to see if you make the right or the wrong choices. And they're going to be constantly doing this every second of your life, that they're going to keep on putting you through trials to make sure that you walk the right pathway, that you are even ensuring yourself that you are walking the right pathway. And once you are ensuring yourself that you are walking that pathway, you will finally understand your gift. But you have to go through all those stages of awakening, because once you're fully awakened, you'll know what to do with your gift form. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. Matthew, even though you're not
Yeah.
on camera, that's the good thing about a podcast. People can still hear you, even though those that watch can't see you. What do you know what your gift is then?
I'm still on the pathway of awakening.
He's got a special gift that he hasn't earned it yet.
Yep.
And I know what that gift is because I was shown.
Oh,
But I
you
can't
told
tell
him.
him. I can't tell him
Nope.
until he'll say something key. And once says something key and he learns one thing, I can transfer that special
All right.
gift to him.
All right, the best way to put it is that I do have two spiritual advisors that watches over me, or you can say two guardian angels or something like that. One of them actually constantly does communicate with me. The other has not communicated with me because he has told me my time is not ready yet for him to talk to me, because once that time comes, he'll be ready to talk to me and explain what my gifts are. He's literally telling me I can't give me he will not give me his name. He will not reveal himself, but he has let me know that he is there watching and protecting over me. But I'm just not ready yet.
Yeah, you should make some T-shirts and you probably could sell them where it says "Kill the mind, raise the spirit."
Yep.
Nice. You were on about t-shirts last week. I do need to look into that for you.
Yeah.
Okay, back to when you're going on a vision. People who are of your ancestry and your indigenousness, you're seeing wolves, eagles, and all that. Does it matter where you are in the world? Would you still see wolves, deers, crows, whatever?
Yeah, the whole thing comes down to it that you don't choose to have a vision.
No, but I'm just saying, like, because
Yeah,
you know, you, that's your ancestry, and that's what you've been doing for,
it's
millennia.
understanding. It's understanding what they mean, like a crow. If a crow comes to you in a vision, and everything, the crow will show you a doorway. They're the guardians of the doorway. And if you don't understand that they're trying to show you the doorway, then you'll never find the doorway.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say though is, it if you're Japanese, African, Chinese, Russian, English, French, or whatever, would you still see animals, or because we don't have buffalo, for example, over here?
Well, the first thing you have to understand, they're human beings. We're all human beings.
Hmm.
So when a vision comes to us, it'll come in a way that we will understand it through our own, I want to say culture.
Culture. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at. I perhaps didn't
Yeah.
word it right. Like over here, we've got foxes and things, blackbirds, whatever, which is kind of the druid thing. I
So
just wondered if,
you shouldn't have any problems running leather because you can always fox it.
gosh.
Also, remember.
You know, we were sitting in England. We were doing a lodge, and we could hear the fox horns going, right? And so everybody's in there was concerned. They said, "Protect the fox. Don't let him catch it." So we sat there, and then we opened the door to bring some more rocks in. Guess who was at the entrance?
The fox.
Fox. So he called refuge there. So they couldn't come in because it was private land. So they got their wish, and when they asked and they requested, and they were already concerned, it was answered.
Uh, I guess the best way to put is like when you see animals as symbology, as knowledge, you also have to remember that the universe is all about knowledge. Okay. And it's just how we receive that knowledge is what helps us gain information to
Yeah.
help us understand
Everything is a teacher.
things.
Even a cabbage, a carrot, a tree. They all have life force energies. So a lot of people said, "Wow, I was doing a workshop in Edinburgh, and this one guy was sitting there, and he said, well, they went on a journey, and after he said, I didn't get nothing." I said, "What?" He said, "I didn't get nothing. I didn't get no animals, no nothing. All I got was vegetables." And I started laughing. He started, "Why?" He said, "You're a vegetarian, right? You're a vegan." He said, "How the hell do you know that?" I said, "You just told me." I said, "So, tell me about the fruit." So he told certain things, so I interpreted, and he just looked at me and said, "You're right. I guess I did have a vision." He goes,
Okay, I've got to ask, what's the symbology behind a cabbage then?
"Well, energy. It's a healing energy. Everything has healing energies."
Yeah, but
So again,
if you had a vision of a cabbage, what would that mean?
well, cabbage again is again it's earth grown. So, and cabbage is a very healthy vegetable.
Yep.
So it could be telling you basically that you're not eating right. You're lacking that particular energy. So it came to you to tell you, okay, you need to eat more of this. You need to eat more than that. So again, it's an energy that will help you become healthy again.
It's what you're missing of your nutrients and minerals
Yeah,
is the best way to put it. If that plant's trying to tell you this is what you're missing out of your body, and
yeah,
I can provide that, then I'm willing to sacrifice myself to do so.
yeah. The key thing that we have to remember that ties us all together is water. Everything needs water to grow. So again, through the water, we are all connected. And because we are made of water, we're connected to all things.
Yep.
We just have to understand that connection when it comes to us, what it's trying to tell us.
And I also have a theory. Just this is just a theory, okay? That water is the key to helping us understanding the next stage of evolution, I believe. It's going to help us understand what is the next step. And right now, scientists are understanding that plasma has some kind of effect as well that could actually alter genetics to evolve. But that's through science.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't know if you know. I've forgotten his name. Machio. Oh, I can't remember. He's a Japanese scientist. He did these experiments where he took, mineral water and used a microscope to look at it blown up, and he put different labels on them, like hate, love, and all that. And like, there's pictures of him. I can't remember his name now. But how, emotions and things affect water, and obviously we're made of water.
Yeah.
We've got, is it 70% we are water or something?
Yeah. 'Cause
We can go from was it 30% to 90% of water in our body, depending how much water we can
I don't
uh
think we'd survive on 30%.
yeah.
it's something like that. It's like
Yeah.
30 or 40, but
No,
it's the lowest you can
no.
go.
Water, it comes from the ground. Where the water comes from, they're surrounded by minerals. So the water absorbs all these minerals. So that's why I think that scientist was basically getting to where he probably understand that certain places where the water comes from, certain minerals exist.
Yep. And quantum science actually proven this through testing with different how each water is formed during its phase of crystalline within the water. Okay, and you'll notice that if you go to a rainforest or go to a pond or go to a lake in that general area, depending on the minerals and the resources that the water gathers, it changes the crystal genetics of that water. It's pretty crazy if you look that shit up. Each water has its own different crystal formation, as its own not genetics, but how things bond. In
Yeah. The other thing I was thinking of too is that when you look at all these explanations that are going on right now,
Or the
and
what? Sorry.
excavations.
Oh,
They're finding things. I was wondering, I said, these things that have been covered up for centuries, I don't think they were meant to be found. So I think what we're doing is we're actually interfering in ecology. We're interfering on things that we should not be known. Because once we know certain things, we have certain knowledge. What do? We go out and we utilize it again to make weapons.
mm,
And so, again, when we look around the world today, the devastations of all kinds of things are happening all over the world now. Your hurricanes are getting more powerful. Your tornadoes are getting more powerful. Your earthquakes are more often. Your volcanoes are starting to erupt. You're getting floods all over the place. It's always said like the natives have always forecast the future that we will be give warnings, but they said human beings will turn a blind eye to them.
not all human beings, but the majority seem to. By the way, that Japanese scientist Michio Kaku, I just remembered his name, the one who did the water things. He's American. He's an American though.
But if
I've
you,
heard his name.
yeah, but if you have a gift and there's 144,000 gifts, don't you think you'd understand why everything on this earth and what we need from the earth, rather than having a science go in there that has no belief? But he says, "Oh, I discovered this." How could he discover something that's been there for since the beginning of the earth? He uncovered it, but he didn't discover it.
We haven't got that long left, so let's just wrap up on because, as I said, you've mentioned it before, but we've been going a while now, and somebody may not have seen an earlier episode. How do you find your gift then?
Well, like I said before, the phone's ringing, but nobody's answering. And the whole idea is ask the questions. I'll give them the tools in order for them to be attached to whoever's going to be their guide. But they have to understand that once this guide comes and they lead them to a certain place, don't hang on to that guide. Let the next guide come.
All right. The other way that can be helpful too is by channeling your energy through thoughts, and that could even be talking to yourself. I know most people think talking to yourself is a crazy thing, but it's not really crazy when you really think about it, because once you start talking to your friends and family, let's say, in your heads and you're thinking about doing certain things, okay, but somehow they can pick up those thoughts, like, hey, let's go, thinking you're at, I want to go over here. Then 10 minutes later, your friend picks it up, or a family member, like, hey, let's go over here. And you're like, holy shit, what? That's what I wanted to do,
Yeah.
because remember, we do channel thoughts as energy as well.
Yeah.
And don't you think that there are forces out there that do the same that we cannot understand and see?
Let's simplify that by saying you're going down the road and you're talking to yourself. No, you say, I got to take this turn off, and this turn off's about a mile away, and you're talking out loud. So this reassures you and reassures the brain, okay, I got to take that exit. So that would be a simple way of looking at it, of how by talking to yourself, it gives you information that is transferred to the brain so that you don't forget.
But how do you tell the difference between a good answer and a crazy answer?
Well, either one of them does you good.
Feeling. It's really about feeling.
Yeah, it's how you feel. If you get a feeling it's right, and it's right. And then if you happen to pass that intersection on, it was meant to be. You weren't supposed to go down that way. There's always something that protects you if you understand the protection.
Yep, and they're trying to channel their thoughts too. Like I was saying, is they're trying to talk to us, but we cannot hear. You get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And that's why I'm saying channeling thought can actually do that, because you'd be surprised that things we get in our heads can be from out here, and we just don't realize it because they're channeling their thought of energy into your mind.
That's when you answer yourself. I said, when you answer yourself, say, for instance, you do something stupid. The first thing you find out is that you out loud, you say, Dennis, you're an idiot.
There you go. Yeah.
I was just going to say, when I worked in prisons, when I was working in a women's prison, so we're looking at about 2004, this was, my supervisor as such, she was clairvoyant and that, and we often talked about all this kind of stuff. And she said to me that all the spirits or whatever are standing right there. You're just not fucking listening to them.
Yep. That's the problem.
They should have said, well, when you say something intelligent, I'll hear you.
Speak up.
But again, remember, thought energy of thoughts can be just a tool. It's just a tool for us to help some way to connect. You get what I'm saying? Because again, we throw thought of energies everywhere and people pick that shit up. And you don't think energies, spirits, trees, rocks, animals are doing the same thing. They're throwing this energy of thought out. And you can even pick it up from your dogs. Like I pick it up from my dogs. That's the power of thought. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, definitely. With my bloody
You
dog.
may have to talk to yourself, and next thing you know, you get an idea out of nowhere. That means they're channeling their energy through thought.
It's just like some of your things you see on Facebook where you have a leopard and he's there and you have a dog challenging him from going into the house. And the cat just look, all of a sudden you have a small cat come and it chases it away because they're both cats. They understand the language. So people say, wow, that's not amazing. It's just that they're from the same family. They're just different.
I think I know the video you're on about. I saw it last week because it's just a little cat just went out and it was like.
It's like that while you're sitting there watching the animals, and all of a sudden there was a lightning, and the way the animals react. I mean, they could never jump that high in real life.
Right, we're going to call it a day on that. So thank you for that. That was really cool. Thanks for listening to Straight Talk Sacred Pathway. If you'd like to ask Wa-Na-Nee-Che a question, you can email me at stuart@realityresponsibility.com. The link will be in the description. And don't forget, you can download a powerful guided meditation for free at humancircleoflife.com.